Hey y'all, hey, how you doing? Hope you're doing well today. I am as well. While we're waiting on folks to join, Cooped Up is my website. Check it out anytime. I'd love a follow on Instagram in particular. I'm Cooped Up is my handle in all places. And then wherever you are watching or listening to this, you can ring my bell. My sister asked me to sing that yesterday. To get notified that I have come live. So, hey, Mama, good to see ya. Good to see ya. So, it is. Do I look tired? I feel like I look like I am just run ragged today. So, I have had what would, under normal circumstances, be a completely typical day. But post COVID, it is wearing me out. So, I've had 3 meetings today, 2 in person, and 1 on a Zoom meeting. And in between the first and the second, I actually slept for like 2 hours. I woke up this morning just feeling really fatigued, and then I had to drive like 20 minutes up to Addison for this first meeting, and it was fine and nothing particularly daunting about it. It was a presentation that someone was giving to me, but kind of in the middle of that meeting, I'm just sitting there and I went, like, I just felt the energy drain out of me. So I went and sat in the car for a little bit and then drove home and then fell asleep until, literally, I got home maybe at like 10:30 and I slept until 12:30 because I had a 1 o'clock call. And then I had an in-person meeting right after that. So, yeah. But the fatigue, y'all. And in one of the meetings, the guy presenting had COVID, and I mentioned to him about the fatigue, and he said that his lasted for over a month. That he would go to work, and he owned a company like I do. He would go to work and only be able to stay for like 2 hours before he was just too tired to go on and had to go home. So I'm like, fuck, go away. Go away. Also, I thought I had some good news today. The prez is on. I'm competing with Biden. Yeah. God, is that about Afghanistan and the terrorist attack that just happened there? What a mess. Anyway, I won't talk about that. This is news-ish, but not too newsy. So I walked in the house earlier, and I thought I could smell again. I was like, "What? I can smell! Oh my goodness!" I didn't love the smell I was smelling. It smelled horrible, but it was. I was able to smell something. Then I realized it was Todd. So one of our showers is kind of etched, and we have a bunch of people coming for Thanksgiving. So we're already starting to get our house cleaned up and ready for that, like things that we wanted to fix. And the glass in one of our showers was etched. He was in there with white vinegar scrubbing the glass, trying to get the etching off. By the way, if any of y'all have a hot tip on that, welcome it. And I was like, oh, it's vinegar. I've always been able to smell vinegar. For whatever reason, vinegar, I've been able to taste it even when I lost my sense of taste. And I've been able to smell it even when I lost my sense of smell. So I can't smell anything. I could only smell the vinegar. So the sense of smell has not returned. Sense of taste is mostly back. Nothing has enough salt on it because it's a very muted sense of taste. But there's at least that. But my whole house smelling like vinegar, that is not what I want my house to smell like. That is the worst, white vinegar. At least it wasn't apple cider vinegar. That is the worst smell ever, apple cider vinegar. The pink stuff, the cleaning ladies on TikTok swear by it. Carrie is saying, I don't know what that is. I'll have to look that up. You get all your stuff. Carrie gets all her products from TikTok these days. She sent me one earlier today. This woman who had bags, and she had like crazy bags, like luggage departments at Macy's bags under her eyes, and put this cream on it. And as it was drying, it was just like, whoop, and she only did one. So she kind of looked strokish afterwards because one of her eyes was mostly back to normal and the other one was still super baggy. Did you buy that stuff, Carrie? I didn't even see what the name of the product was. She was like, here's the product, and just showed it. But fantastic. If that works, it's amazing. I've heard that Preparation H is also good for it, but I have not gotten up the guts to put hemorrhoid ass cream on my eyes. I've also gotten... Oh, Todd tested negative today, by the way. Yay! So finally. And it's totally normal to test positive even after you're out of quarantine. it happened to me. It happens to everybody, supposedly. You're not contagious anymore, though, at that point. And once you've done the 10 days of quarantine, the most contagious part is a couple of days before and a couple of days after your symptoms start. So he tested negative today, which is wonderful. But I've gotten multiple people today texting me and messaging me asking if I could help them. I'm the COVID guru, obviously, asking if I could help them find the at-home rapid test because CVS is sold out of them online. Some of the stores still have them. You can go to CVS, and the one I had was Brinax Now is what it's called. Binax Now, not Brinax. Binax Now. Is it? Actually, I'll just drop a link in the comments. But it's not available to order online anymore. That's why I keep doing it. But we have plenty. We have 2. So don't hoard them. If you find them and order them, don't hoard them. Because if people need them, don't order 2 dozen or anything like that. We ordered 2 sets so that in case the remaining 2 people in our house need to be tested, we can do it. But it looks like CVS got restocked on them based on that link for Dallas that I just posted. But man, and Stuart's saying they have tons everywhere they go in New Jersey. Interesting. But schools are starting to shut down now. There's a charter school here in Dallas, Truvium Academy in Carrollton, that announced that 10% of its student body this week has tested positive for COVID. And that's just the kids who actually tested. They went to great lengths in their statement to say, that's just the ones who've actually been tested. Like their friends, basically people are like Todd never got tested because he knew he had the same symptoms that I had been tested, like the official PCR test, that he was like, okay, it's obviously that. And it was. And so a lot of siblings and stuff are doing it. So this school shut down completely, Truvium Academy. It's a charter school. And they shut down until like September 6th. And they are not doing remote school or anything, like just straight up shut down. Crazy. I wonder how does that affect? Are they getting I don't know if my sister's watching. My sister does attendance for a school district. I wonder if, are they getting TEA waivers on that sort of thing? Are they going to have to make up those days? Like our school schedule was built in so that we have multiple weeks where if we happen to need to shut the school down, which we didn't last year, knock on wood that we don't this year either. We had 1 case of direct contact in all of last year, and it was like the second day of school. Other than that, we never had any. No, schools are doing remote, my sister is saying. But what happens if they don't do remote? Do you have to request a waiver? Because it's a charter school, so I assume they have to follow the TEA because it's a free charter school. So I assume they have to follow the TEA guidelines on that, right? She's saying they can request a waiver though. But man, so and in the statement that they put out, it actually said the testing has gotten so far that contact tracing is impossible. Like we couldn't even tell you if you've been in contact with these kids or not. Crazy. Our school is still very much keeping the kids separated. Like you're in pods. Like you can't. Like the first graders never interact with the second graders, like not even passing in the hallway. Like everyone is still very kind of like pods. The only they do go into shared spaces, like the cafeteria is open again, whereas last year the cafeteria was not open. Everyone ate in their classrooms. But other than that, Jackie is saying, I think Fort Worth is on its way too. My friend is a teacher there, and she has 46 kids and 2 teachers between 2 teachers. Damn, that's a big class, even with 2 teachers. And almost half of her class is in quarantine, and her daughter is in kinder at the same school, and more than half of her class is in quarantine. It's only day 9. Oh, boy. Yeah. When all these people are like not masking up and stuff, I know Highland Park. No one's wearing a mask in Highland Park. And if you do, they make fun of you. So... and it doesn't get better in graduate school, Stuart is saying. Don't try to physically do law school in the age of COVID. I need you to text me how that story turned out. I'm not going to tell the story here, but I want to know how that story turned out. And we have a virus, not COVID, going around too. Yeah, I've heard that there's like that RSV, something like that, respiratory something virus or RVS, or I don't know, something like that. And And also allergies. So much stuff is blowing through Dallas right now. Like allergies are off the charts again today. So maybe we'll get that hurricane and wash everything out of the air. Okay, that's enough on. No, one more COVID topic, and then did y'all see what Delta Airlines did today? So Delta Airlines announced yesterday to its employees that if you are, and Carrie posted the acronym comment. Remind me to go back to that. If you are an employee of Delta Airlines and you do not get vaccinated, you do not lose your job. You have to be subjected to weekly testing. You also have to pay $200 a month extra for your health insurance. So $2,400 a year. I'm there for that. And because Delta is self-insured, if you opt to not get vaccinated, they are not covering you if you catch COVID. If you get sick and it is COVID, any expense associated with that, insurance is not covering it. Whew. That's actually, I think, more motivated. Supposedly they had like yesterday and today, like the most people, the spike in signups for the vaccine. But Eric's saying, I think what Delta is doing is wonderful. I agree, totally. And actually, I like it a lot better than that we'll give you $50 if you get vaccinated, or we'll give you $200 if you get vaccinated. I think reverse it. Don't reward them for doing something they should be doing all along. And yes, I'm going to shoot you to death. Instead, make it about the expense, and especially self-insured companies. And for those of you who don't know what that means that even though your insurance looks like it is United Healthcare or Cigna or something like that, the reality is that the company just pays all of the health expenses. So if you go to the hospital, you use a United Healthcare card. Say that's who administers their system. But if the insurance, and they get the discounts of United Healthcare and all that. But if your medical bill is $200,000, Delta pays that directly. Like that's how it's paid. It doesn't go through like a traditional insurance thing. So it's and they already do this if you smoke and all of that kind of stuff. So why wouldn't you? Even our insurance, we have to fill out certain health forms and prove that we're doing certain, like watching. If you're a smoker, you're required to watch a smoking cessation video, that sort of thing. I wish universities would hop on board with the vaccine requirement. If they are required to get meningitis vaccine, add this to the list of required. Well, talk to your governor about that. He's doubling down even. Governor Abbott is now not allowing any vaccine requirements. Like he waived, I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, like the meningitis vaccine requirement, the mumps vaccine, he waived all of them, saying that vaccines are not allowed to be used, period, as a thing. That is my understanding of what happened. Someone correct me if I am wrong. Our governor is stupid. Yes, I agree. And yes, more companies need to do this. Yeah, because you know what? The vaccinated are getting increasingly angry at the unvaccinated. And that's the divide now. It's not so much about it's like, what are you fucking doing to help? Because the anti-vaxxers are also the anti-maskers. It's like, what are you doing to help? I'm listening. I don't hear anything. Yes. So I feel like Texas is more crazy than when I grew up there. I don't know if we're more crazy or we just see and hear a lot more of it. But yes, I don't know. The man must want everyone else in a wheelchair as well. Well, he's kind of shitty about that too. So the details of this may be a little off, but the general direction of the story is true. That applies to everything I say. He was in an accident running, and a tree fell on him while running, and he turned around, and I think he was in college, or maybe he was freshly out of college or something like that, turned around and sued everybody he could to get a settlement, right? So people, the tree trimmers, the property owners, the street team, anyone who could have been sued about that tree falling on him and causing him to be paralyzed, he sued. Well, do you know what he's done since he's been a politician? He has done tort reform, quote unquote, and he has banned the exact kind of lawsuits that he got all that money for. No one in Texas is allowed to do that anymore. So he got his. but he banned all of them. That is shit right there. Joe England. Hey, Joe. I have a family member who's anti-vax and anti-mask publicly, but just admitted to getting her first dose this week. Well, that's good. I'm thinking that more people are doing that. I'm hoping so. I hope this is scaring people, honestly. You know what? I mean, me being vaccinated and as sick as I got, like, I hope that's why I've been so vocal about it. I hope this fucking scares people, although I'm preaching to the choir mostly. He was running through River Oaks, which is the Houston equivalent of Highland Park. Yeah. So, divine intervention. Okay, let me go back to your comment, Carrie, about you said about the eye cream. So this eye cream, it's called Peter Thomas Roth Instant Firm X Temporary Eye Cream Tightener. How temporary is it? Sold out everywhere except for their website. She posted that yesterday, and they sold them out. They're sending a ton of product. So it's this eye cream that she put on, and literally as you are watching this TikTok video, her eye is tightening up. And it looks like one is, like I said, it looks like she's had a stroke. One is still real baggy, and the other is like that. So it lasts a day. Yeah. And Carrie's saying that vaccines in Dallas are up 90,000+. It's like an 87% increase. People are scared. I mean, you can't get the test. The lines for the test, the testing are out the door if you go get the professional test. It took, and I'm glad I got it when I did, y'all. But for the professional test, it took me 2 days to get one because everything was so backed up. So okay, that's all I have about that, about COVID. I hope y'all find this funny. So I got an email yesterday that asked me if I would be a brand ambassador or consider being a brand ambassador for this nutritional supplement company. It's like a drink. It's like a meal replacement drink, right? And and by the way, this company is named Soylent. If you're of a certain age, that just does not sit well with you. So there are two things I thought about that. First of all, who the fuck asked me to represent anything healthy? Like, do your fucking research. Watch a couple of these episodes. And number two, y'all, Soylent. For those of you who don't know, like in the 1970s, early 70s, I think, there was a movie called Soylent Green, starring, what's his name? Charlton Heston. I think that's who it was. And basically, it's this like post-apocalyptic world where they are trying to figure out their food source. They need new food sources and such. And someone invents this thing called Soylent Green, and everyone's loving it. It's the best. It's awesome. And turns out, and so this guy, I think he's like a police detective or something like that. It's been a million years since I saw this movie, but it's coming. So a million years. And so then he starts investigating it, and he finds out that, and there's this famous line, I can't remember, it's at the end of the movie, I can't remember if it's the final thing, but it's like, Soylent Green is people. They're taking people, killing them, or dead people or something. I don't remember how they got the people, but they're putting them in the factory, and it's a cannibalism. They're mushing people up, macerating them, blending them, whatever, putting them in a bullet blender. I don't know what they're doing, and turning them into the Soylent Green, like, meal replacement thing, to a food source. So this company, I'm sure it was millennials, you know how much I adore millennials, thought, oh, it would be a great idea to start this company, Soylent. And by the way, it's spelled Soylent. This new product, a meal replacement, nutritional meal replacement product called Soylent. Like, with no irony whatsoever. I'm like, what? Then, even if you go to their website, even on their website, they acknowledge this movie. They acknowledge that from this movie, it was a meal replacement of the future. They don't go into that it was cannibalistic and all of that kind of stuff. But my whole thing on that is, where are the adults in the fucking room? Like, so I get it if like millennials maybe skimmed an IMDb profile and were like, oh, it's about meal of the future or whatever. Or they didn't really watch the movie or when I mean, I think that's and unforgivable if you're going to name your something after that. But like they like sat in a meeting. Someone said, let's make up this thing. Let's call it this. There were meetings. There were memos. There were mock-ups. Why was investors probably? Why was no one like, Monica's like, that's some awful skimming. I agree. But why was there not a record scratch moment where someone was like, I don't think that this is what you want to name it? You know, where was the legal department? Where was any of this? I don't get it. And then that they added it to their website. Or maybe they did, and maybe they want you to be a spokesperson to sell their cannibal powder. I know. So are you going to do it? No. It's like, we're their attorneys, their marketing team. I mean, I'm talking about it, but are y'all going to buy it? No, you shouldn't. And it's at the store, and it's in stores. It was originally online. There was all kind. I used to see ads for it on my Instagram. So I've known about this for a while on my Instagram, and it's all these hot guys, millennials and stuff. It's like trying to life hack, you know, but no. And you know what? If your target market is 20 stupids, then market only to 20 stupids. I am not a potential brand ambassador. So how do these people find you? I don't know. I have good SEO. Same way they found us for that JCPenney ad. So y'all know we were the JCPenney gate ads, right? I've told you this before. That was 9 years ago this past June, I believe. And so the way they found us and asked us to be part of that campaign was someone knew that they were doing casting for this, and they knew me like in passing, and went to my Facebook and just pulled some photos off of my Facebook and sent it in to the casting directors, and they were like, yes, let's sign them up. So it's, who knows how they find it. That's like trying to sell a radioactive lined fabric activewear to Pripyat residents. Chernobyl, I know. Just crazy. And nope, Sandy is saying. Maybe they want you for their product. Yeah, maybe they need more food sources. And I'm big. Maybe now that they like that I got a little meat on my bones, they're like, oh, that's at least 2 bottles of Soylent right there. Mark just walked into the library and heard you talking about Soylent Green. He yelled, Soylent Green, his people. I know. Go mom with the joke. I know, right? So that just, I was like, what? I mean, honestly, you're more likely to want me in your drink than to market your drink. So, yeah. Totally different subject. I learned today that Days of Our Lives is getting a spin-off. It's on the Peacock Network. So Marlena, Deidre Hall, Marlena and John, I don't know the actor's name of that, left Days of Our Lives, I think back in January. It was early this year. I think it was this year that they left. And they're now doing a spin-off called Beyond Salem. And it's about them, and it's airing exclusively on the Peacock Network, the streaming Peacock Network. And I may watch it, y'all, because this is my thing. I have a love-hate relationship with Days of Our Lives. So that was the soap opera of my youth. I remember entire summers where we would be home and we had a babysitter or something, and I think my stepmother at the time also would come home for lunch to watch her stories. And Days of Our Lives was the story we watched. We watched it over lunchtime. I could tell you every far-fetched storyline, because the summers were always the craziest storylines of Days of Our Lives. I know all of the characters, Bo and Hope and Marlena and John and all. I mean, I know the whole cast of characters. I know a little bit about One Life to Live because that was always on right afterwards. And we kind of watched that one, but not that much. Vicky, I remember, was on there. And I think she had an evil twin. But then it got me thinking about the crazy storylines. Any of y'all Days of Our Lives fans or were growing up? Do y'all remember, if you were, you might remember that it was very controversial at the time, but in like the mid 80s, I think it was probably in like the 5th or 6th grade. So it'd be like 85, 86. Marlena Deidre Hall, who looks exactly the same today as she did then, was possessed by Satan. There's a whole summer season where she was possessed by Satan, and there was like special effects like levitating and all of that, and it was super controversial. I'm sure I've not watched it recently, but I'm sure it is super cheesy. Her eyes glowed, all that kind of stuff, and she was causing all kinds of havoc in Salem. But yeah, I loved that show. Sandy is saying she was a Young and the Restless, All My Children, and General Hospital person. I don't know much about that. General Hospital was Carrie's. Antonio Sabato Jr. days. God, he's fine. So, and Mom saw it about Beyond Salem in her stories today, her Facebook feed. I assume that's what you mean. And Monica is saying, I'm sure all the characters are still on it. This is what cracks me up about watching soap operas. You cannot watch a soap opera for 20 fucking years, turn it on, and they're like, later that afternoon. Like, literally nothing has changed. Nothing at all. Like, the storyline, some people have gotten older. There might be a few newer characters, but not that many. Because you don't watch these stories to learn about new people. You want to follow the lives of all these people. So, about Marlena being possessed. You know what, Mom? I bet that showed up on your Facebook feed today because I was Googling it earlier today. And I bet that they know, because I've told you this before, that your search engine, your search results do impact your what shows up in the algorithm on your social media. But even more so, it's what your closest friends and family members are searching, because they assume that you are they're in your circle of influence, so you're in my circle of influence, I'm in your circle of influence. So me Googling that means it shows up in yours, so that if I bring it up, you're like, oh yeah, I was just thinking about that too. Isn't that interesting? I remember when Carrie was looking at Ruggable Rugs, the brand, she was an early adopter of Ruggable Rugs, which are everywhere now. These are the machine washable rugs. And she was telling me about it on the phone, and they're not listening to you. That would take way too much energy and data and expense. They're just that Carrie Googled it and was looking at their website, and they know that I'm in Carrie's circle of influence. And I started seeing ads like crazy. So, what else would you say? Suzanne watched All My Children, General Hospital, One Life to Live. Yeah, all of those. I can't believe the crap my older siblings made me watch. You know, my kids don't watch like TV on TV anymore. Like, they find it weird. I still sometimes will go to the guide, even on our streaming, our AT&T Now or AT&T TV. I'll just go to the guide and stream and see what's on. And they're like, why would you watch just start it in the middle of it and watch commercials? I'm like, sometimes I just like the happenstance of it, like seeing what's on. And then ours let you start from the beginning sometimes too. And I can't wait to start searching. Yeah, Monica's, y'all about to fuck up my search results, aren't you? Oh, no. Y'all are all about to start getting some ads for readers though, because I'm getting my prescription tomorrow, and I'm going to start looking at readers tomorrow online. So you're going to get some Geritol ads, some reverse mortgage, some life insurance, readers, all that kind of Propecia, all that kind of stuff. So, and Riley, Suzanne's son, does not watch TV either. Eric's grandma Johnson watched Guiding Light. Ooh, I remember hearing about that one. I couldn't even tell you who was on that one, and would take her phone off the hook so nobody would bother her during her story. That is awesome. And then that in the background that all of us were accustomed to ignoring, right? All the CBS soaps. Our generation grew up with TV as noise in the background. We always watched it in the background. Kids now have a list of what they want to watch. It's much more intentional, which I think is actually probably better. They're not just, although my kids will just watch YouTube for hours at a time. So I'm not sure that it's any different. I think it's just a different thing. But Beyond Salem on the Peacock Network, I think it starts in a couple of weeks. I think it was like early September, the date I saw for it. Yeah, that's it. I'm at time, so I'm going to save my last topic for tomorrow. Alrighty. Monica is saying Cooper and I would run home to watch the new Mickey Mouse Cup. I remember that. Like, like at a dead run because our house was far enough away. The walk was far enough away in Donna, Texas, that it was impossible to make it home in time unless you hauled ass to see it. My kids still cannot comprehend that we did not have things recorded, that we watched things at a certain time, that we were all sitting, like basically any living human who has seen episode whatever of the new Mickey Mouse Club saw it at the exact same moment, sitting in front of a TV, all collectively. Same with like finales of shows, MASH and Dallas and all of that kind of stuff. Blows their mind. And then Double Dare. Oh, I love Double Dare. And you can't say that on television. I remember one time, in Dolly's, I can remember being my mom. There's so many reasons my mom knew I was gay. She always jokes that one of the first things that she knew I was gay is that I was just beside myself crying in kindergarten, I think, that Dorothy couldn't get home. I was already a friend of Dorothy back then. But the other thing is we were somewhere. Remember Dolly Parton had a variety show. And I think it was just called Dolly. And this was like the late 80s. And it was on Sunday nights. And we were out somewhere. And I was just beside myself. So upset that I was not going to get to see Dolly Parton that night. Just so many signs. So many signs. And Hand on the Hip was not even the main one. The Double Dare host, Mark, what's his name? Mark something, was kind of dorky cute. Yeah, I know. And for us little gay boys, he was someone to have a crush on too. I always thought I would rock that show. Like I always thought like I would be so good at Double Dare. I'm sure y'all did too. Everyone did. So. Alrighty, well, with that, I'm going to say bye. I love you. It's important to know you are loved. Tomorrow is Friday, so we've made it through the week. Don't shoot yourself to death. Stay safe. Go buy yourself a COVID test to have in your closet so that in case you need it, you have it. Like plan ahead. And I will see you tomorrow at 4:30 for another episode of Cooped Up Live. Should I say? Talk to you later. Bye.